All right. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Who's excited to be here?
I
Yeah,
am.
so excited.
I'm super excited.
All right. We've we've got Ace Fireside chats going now, trying to heat it up for the summer. Or if you're joining us from Brazil, it's starting to cool off a little bit, right? So you need some place to stay warm. Dallas, you,
Yeah,
you look like you're
we're
about to say it's getting chilly.
yeah. This week, I think we're gonna have really low temperatures here in Brazil. So be prepared for this week's weather.
Oh my goodness. It's crazy as we start to see how some of the climate is adjusting and shifting, and then we get to feel some of those extra temperatures. So we're all getting a little older. Can you feel it in your elbows or in your knees a little bit now?
Definitely.
Yeah, so let's do a round where we introduce everybody just in case they're not familiar with who we are. Dallas, you want to kick it off for us today?
Yeah, sure, Andrew. Yeah, hey everyone. My name is Talas Donizetti. I'm an Alteryx ace with Andrew and Fernando, and I've been around at data meaning for about 2 years from now, right now, and really glad to be here to be sharing a little bit of our knowledge here in this fireside chat. Welcome.
And how about you, Fernando?
Yeah, so I'm Fernando Vizcaino. I've been working with Alteryx for 6 years now. I'm really recent here in data meaning. I'm working for 1 month, and I've been an ace for I think a year or something around that. So that's basically it.
It's that time just flying, right?
Yeah,
It's always
exactly.
exciting. So my name is Andrew Kim. I've been using the Alteryx platform for a little over 12 years now. Really excited to be on my fifth year as an ace, and just watching the platform grow and progress. And we're excited because we're here to share our favorite macros here with you today. Some of the different things that we're planning on doing. And then, of course, we're always excited to share some about ourselves and some fun questions. Dallas, you want to kick off what some of the things that you plan on sharing today are?
Um, yeah, we the regarding the question or the macro. Sorry, Andrew, because I got mixed up
Yeah,
with
so
that.
I guess Dallas is getting a little excited for our fun question of the day, which is what's one of the first things that you do waking up, and then
Oh, definitely.
uh, yeah, is it using Alteryx? Is that one of the
Oh,
first things?
sometimes, right? Depends on how hard the week is, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, I really like to do some exercises in the morning. But right now, actually, I've been shifting to the night. So yeah, in the morning, I'm usually like I tend to take some time to wake up and do my stuff. So I usually like to have a good breakfast and be prepared for catch up with the news and everything and to start my work day.
Nice. What's some of the coolest stuff you've been hearing on the news lately that you're
Actually,
excited?
I've been really taking a look at the Olympics.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, because we Brazil got the first gold medal this evening. So it was really fun. It was a surf competition, right? That recently came up in the Olympics. So it was really fun to watch.
Nice. And Olympic data is actually one of the most exciting data sets to kind of play with. Um, so, other than the surfing, do you have a favorite sport that you like to watch?
Oh, actually, at the Olympics, I like to watch all of them. So I like to cheer for Brazil, right? So everything that Brazil is playing, I'm on it.
Nice, nice. So speaking of Olympics, we obviously have Alteryx Grand Prix, and some of the cool stuff that comes from there is related to like different macros, etc. So what three macros are you going to be talking about and sharing with everyone today?
Well, today I'm going to be talking about the API runner macro, which really helps with the API requests to the gallery API. I'm also going to talk about the model comparison tool, which is a tool, which is a macro actually that is not made into the product, but it's really nice to have. And to
Nice.
finish, I will be talking about the wait a second crew macro, which is also really always helpful to build some of the logic in the workflows.
Just wait 1 second. That's it. That's all it does.
Yeah, no, it's not all it does, but it's actually not all it does because it's not 1 second, right? But it's
Oh,
important to have this one.
oh,
Unless you
okay.
wanna unless you wanna play with the throttle tool and get all crazy about doing the math about the 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 time you need to stop your workflow.
Yeah, the time sometimes really comes into a huge factor. I remember doing that with some different Amazon requests and different aspects. I think that kind of plays into my morning routine. Alteryx has definitely helped ease up my morning routine because I do like celery juice and the lemon juice and stuff in the morning. You guys always see that. That one's already done here today, so I got my smoothie next. But until then, it's the water. But the three that I'll be discussing today are actually a little different. So one, everybody should know if you're using Tableau, which is the publish to Tableau server tool. Another one that I really love is the advanced join. So if you're using Alteryx, as much as I love the join tool and being able to see all three different options in terms of things coming out, sometimes I want a join based on a case statement. So I use the advanced join. It's kind of like hidden off in the Alteryx blog series. So I'll be sharing and talking about some of that today. And then the third one that I want to talk about is actually hidden as well. It's the connect batch loader executor, which essentially think of it being the first thing that really combine app values as well as workflows and establish them as pairs to allow for quality execution. So those are the three. And Marvin, sorry, not Marvin, Fernando, getting messages inbound here. Fernando, what's your morning routine look like, and what are the three you want to share with us today?
Okay, so actually I'm a night person, so I do everything that can be done at night. So I do all my exercise, everything that I need to watch or I want to watch, I watch late at night. So and actually at morning the only thing that I do before working is to brush my teeth. So that's
Brush
the
your
only
teeth.
thing that I actually. So it's 5 minutes before working. That's all I need to do, or all I want to do, because I hate to wake up early actually.
Nice. Coffee? Are you a coffee guy?
Yeah, yeah. But
Okay,
actually,
nice.
yeah, my coffee machine is right by my side here. So while I'm working, I'm pressing the button, drinking all the coffee that I actually want.
Oh man, that's a tight race between Alteryx and coffee. Like, can you even get it down before your workflow finishes?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So
and related to, sorry, but
yeah,
related to the tools that I will would like to show you. It's all the runner macros from Mark Frisch. I think it's the one of the best macros that I've come across. The parallel block until done as well from Mark Frisch. So I think he has a lot of different tools or interesting tools for us to show here. And I think three is not enough for us to show everything that he has done for the community. And also I have one specific from Bob Pierce, that's copy and move files. That's a pretty
Okay.
interesting tool to that I'm gonna talk about today.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and Fernando, do you want to kick us off in regards to sharing your screen and walking us through some of these macros, and we'll have the audience and Dallas and I will kind of pepper you with some questions. How does that sound?
Sure, let's do. I'm gonna show you one here. I think it's the best one, actually, the best one here from the 9 tools that we will be actually showing. So I'm
Oh
actually
man.
I think I'm winning here. I'm winning here with my choices. But let's go ahead and do here. So actually, for the runner macros, it's not one single tool. Actually, have four tools here. We have the runner tool, the conditional runner, the list runner, and the log parser, and it actually works all together. That's why I think I'm going to show all of them. So the idea here is that if you have a specific workflow that needs to be run right after another one, so for example, if you have one file that needs to be updated in order for you to run that specific workflow, that's what this tool does. So in this example here, let me run it once. So the idea here is that this is actually a workflow running. So if you have this and then you need the second one, if the first one successfully run, you have the second one running. And this goes for a lot of different ones. So if you get an error, for example, it will go to a false anchor here, a fail anchor, and it will not run the next ones. So that's a pretty interesting tool that you would like to use. And also there's something pretty great here. So if you don't have desktop automation, if you don't have the gallery installed, doesn't matter why, but you don't have it, and you have a lot of different workflows that you need to run it daily, in a daily basis. One thing that you can do, you can use, for example, a directory tool to get all the workflows that you have in your computer, in your notebook, and you can run them in a list, and you get here a list of all of them with everything that has run successfully, everything that has failed, and also you have all the logs here. So it's a pretty tool for you to have in your Alteryx Designer.
Nice. So this is how you get to enjoy your coffee every morning, huh?
Yeah. Actually, until now, I'm doing actually nothing. I just click here and run, and I pretend to be working.
If only that were true, right? Yeah, so these are definitely incredible. As we kind of talk about it, do you know what it's using under the hood, and like how you can even tell that, like, let's start real basic. How can you tell if a tool is a macro? Is there a way that you can tell?
Yeah, actually, there is a functionality related to the user settings where you can always see a specific icon here saying that this tool is actually a macro. But if you don't have that turned on, actually you can right click in that tool and you can see that it is a macro, and then you can open it. That's one of the ways of knowing that if this is a macro.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think that's where, I mean, as we talk about when it shows that, what is it kind of diving into when you see it says open macro? Does that mean it's just going to give you a description of it, or is it actually another workflow?
Yeah, macros. I think it's basically the same as Excel macro is. Maybe Alteryx stole from them the specific word, but the idea here is that you have a specific macro. For instance, if you have something that is pretty complex, but you can automate because you don't want your users to see this, because maybe it's complex to understand, or maybe you want to keep them not knowing what it's actually doing. That's something that we can also do here. So you can it's lock your macro so other users can see. For example, you have a login user and password. That's something that you can do. So you build a macro, you lock that macro, and the users will only be able to use what you're seeing here. So you only can configure this thing and not everything else. So that's the whole idea.
And this is part of a whole tool set, right? Because I'm looking at the top of your screen and I see crew macros, and there's quite a few listed there.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Actually, for me, it's another fun question for me. So when I went to Inspire and I met Mark Frisch, I actually took a photo with him. That's when I decided to become an ace. And actually, I have
Nice.
that photo here. Yeah. So he's a great user, a great, I think, one of the best users in the community. And
Nice.
the most famous one, I think.
Did you rub his boots for good luck? He's got those
Actually,
those
I
Alteryx
didn't.
boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's an incredible guy and such a giving heart. Well, we'll definitely have to have him on the show one day.
Yeah, sure.
And he loves his dog. So if you guys haven't seen any of those videos, he's got some fun ones that he's done over the years. Yes, and I've even put in the chat. So if you guys want to check out the crew macros, they're there in the chat, so you can download them directly. That's the entire pack. And it'll be added to your tool palette. And then if you want a description for what each of those kind of do and how they work, that's also here in the chat as well. So Fernando, who do you want to pass the ball over to next year to kind of show off some Alteryx skills?
Let me think about, because since my macro was pretty great to show, let me see who I want to pressure here. I'm gonna go with Thales. Actually, let's see what he had. What he has.
Oh man, Dallas, you ready for this?
Thanks. No problem. Yeah, of course. I don't know if I'm gonna beat the runner macros, but I'm always up for the challenge. I mean, like, macros need to solve a problem, so it depends on who you're talking to, right?
Yeah.
Some people might be interested in the runner macros. Some people might be interested in other macros. So that really depends on the audience. But let me show my stuff here then. Andrew, if you could point me to my screen. Yeah, so this one is really fun because really fun and really useful, right? This one is called the API runner macro. And you can find it in the public Alteryx gallery. And that macro is actually built by a colleague, an ACE colleague. His name is Patrick Daigan, and he's done a pretty amazing job putting everything together in terms of the API requests that come from the gallery. And you can basically make a lot of calls from using this API runner macro. And let me show you an example of what you can do. One of the examples that we can do here is using the API to download workflows from the gallery, right? So I have here all the calls that you can do, like all the API calls that you can do with the Alteryx gallery. Just for those who don't know, the Alteryx gallery is a component of the Alteryx server, right? So if you have an Alteryx server, you want to query stuff from the Alteryx gallery, you can use the API to automate that kind of requests. Instead of diving into the database, to the Mongo database, or to any other weird path that you would need to do. Maybe I even saw some people doing some web scraping sometime to get some stuff from the gallery. So I don't think you need to go down that road. You can just use the API, and that's why the API runner macro is really amazing. And Andrew, I'm gonna try to run the workflow here, but let me check if I'm actually. We need to connect. I need to connect to
the VPN.
Our VPN. Yeah, our VPN, because I forgot to do that. But what basically this workflow will do is I'm creating the API call here with the user constants in the workflow. Then I pass the call through the macro. You can see the macro is really easy to configure. You just need to pass an endpoint, the endpoint that I built based on the type of the call that I'm doing. I need to pass the key of my API, and that in this case is an admin key. Okay, so it's an admin API. There's also the subscription API that you can use from the gallery that also will allow you to do some stuff related to your workflows in your subscription. But then what this macro does is basically it's going to shoot a JSON response from the API. And then all I do here is to parse everything I need. In this case, I'm doing, if I go to the constants here, I can see that I'm requesting the workflows. So it'll list all the workflows that are in the gallery. And then I do a second call here where I actually download them because I'm building like a separate endpoint here where you actually download the workflow, download the package. So if I run this, let's hope that this runs without errors and pretty quick, let's say. But basically, what we'll do is I will have all the workflows. I actually sample 10 because we have a lot of workflows in our gallery, right, Andrew? So,
Oh yeah. You don't want to run them all?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, if I had to download all of them, we would take forever. But yeah, even though like this might not even finish because I don't know if there's a really big workflow here, like with a lot of data assets and stuff. But basically, this is doing is you can see in the results window, it's downloading to a specific folder, which is actually, yeah, I presented about this API in the Dallas user group as well. So you see, I created a folder for that, and it's downloading all the workflows that I sampled here to this folder. So a really useful macro. It's not, you can use like with different calls, not just downloading workflows or listing workflows. Pretty much all of the calls that are straightforward can be used with this macro. So that's why I think everyone was starting with the gallery API with automating content from the server, from the Alteryx server, should definitely learn more about this macro and use this macro. Okay. But yeah, I don't think this is gonna finish in like because probably we have a workflow here that is it's a really big workflow with a lot of data assets and stuff. So that's why it's taking a bit longer, Andrew.
Yeah, I think there's some, I see lifetime value with Snowflake there at the top. There's definitely some good ones there. But that's the interesting piece, right? Is already we've talked about a couple different ways that you can execute workflows, whether you're local on your own desktop, and maybe you're working on kind of automating a series. And then also as you get things automated and push it onto the server. And what's impressive about this is the server APIs continue to evolve. So there's definitely some opportunities here to continue to do more, right? Dallas, what's like one of your favorite things to trigger via APIs?
Well, definitely one of them is what this workflow is doing. But what I also like to do is manage the data connections
Nice.
through the API. So it's really interesting. You cannot update anything, unfortunately. I think they're gonna add that functionality in the future, but you can match, for example, your system connections with gallery data connections, and then you can do like the kind of admin work. So yeah, just a background. I'm really into admin work with servers. So I've done a lot of managed services in a data meeting, and I've continually delivered training on server as well. So I really like the admin view of server. So one of the really cool things to do is actually transfer all of your connections to gallery data connections. Sometimes you get environments where you have system data connections where users actually built them from Designer, and then you can match that with the API, and you can do all of that work of doing the checking them and also doing that parity with your Designer users, and also installing the drivers, checking the drivers if they're in the right version, who has access to what, and you can manage that really easily using that call. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, that's incredible, and we can see it's still chugging away here. I think we've definitely got. You can see some of the stuff we're developing behind the scenes. Definitely has some robust aspects to it. So, yeah, that's incredible.
Nice.
All right, now you guys have definitely opened the doors here. I gotta get cracking to maintain some type of status here, right? Let's see what we've got to work with. Let me just move this here to the side. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Yeah, so I've got a few that I want to talk about, but the first one is actually one, again, that everybody can download for free. And then this one comes from the Connect scheduler. So you can see on this computer, I have an older version of one. They update this loader with every version. But essentially what this actually does is, if you've never looked at this workflow before, if you go to the license portal and you have access to Connect, there's actually a starter kit for Alteryx Connect for the metadata loaders. And then you can see all the different ones here. So if ever you're trying to understand, hey, what type of metadata information exists within any of these platforms, and can I grab it? So like even the Alteryx loader technically is going in and grabbing the Alteryx server metadata via the APIs, right? And then the same is true for all these. This is all incredible because as it goes through and kind of grabs that, it provides us with information. And these are all really good. And I mean, we could talk for hours about each one of these. But what I like to start with is really here, this is incredible. This workflow only works on the server because it does need to utilize the engine to execute and then provide that pairing. But as we kind of discuss this, I think one day this will even transition over to the API calls now. And what this does is it literally pulls in all of the Alteryx workflows that are related to this directory. So let me go ahead and I'll kill it. I'm messing with this here locally and I'm not on the server, but we'll still see the directory as it kind of pulls us in. And you'll see it's actually going to pull in literally all the workflows, packages, etc. here, right? It's going to parse up file extensions, which is pretty common practice, and then it's going to identify all the loaders. And as we kind of see this, as it identifies the loaders, then what it's going to start doing is it's going to remove unnecessary columns. It's going to grab loader values, which if you've ever looked at those, it's a YXWV. So if ever you're working with an app or some app values, so an example would be, let's see if we can find one here real quick. So we've got some apps. If we pulled an app in here, let's take the publish to Tableau server one, right? You're going to see a couple things. One, that little handy plus that Fernando was talking about. And if I right click here and open this up, right? And we start looking at this and I hit OK, and then we go to Interface Designer, you're going to see some interface components pop up here. And literally as these components pop up and you go in and you add and create different components here, then what you can do is you can actually save these settings, which is what we're doing for each of those loaders. And then as we save those settings, you'll see the app values are saved here. So in case you haven't done the advanced exam for Alteryx Designer, that's one of the questions that's on there, that file type. So helpful tip there. But then as we also look at this particular workflow, we're going to see something that's interesting here. So it's literally going to take these here. It's going to take all the app values. It's going to pair them with the workflows. Join those
Andrew,
two.
okay. Sorry to interrupt. I think in LinkedIn and also in YouTube, it's not showing your canvas there. For some reason, it's showing in your browser. I'm not that sure why.
It's only showing the browser? Okay,
yeah,
let's try again here. So let's share this again. There we go. Can everybody see my browser? Thank you, guys. So Victor and Zhao, can you guys see my LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn desktop? Can you see my Alteryx desktop now?
Yeah.
All right.
Now it's working.
Now it's working. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So as we kind of look at this, right? What we want to see is essentially as you're looking at the combinations from here, then what we can do is take this and take the different combinations, join them, and I'll even put up a video about this one specifically because I'm doing it locally here with Restream. But when you're on the server, you'll see joining. And then the part that I'm excited about is actually what's in here. So there's this macro that has the batch command execute. And again, this can only be done on the server, but essentially what this is doing is it's bringing in those at values and the parameterization, and then it's pathing it to the Alteryx engine. And then what it literally does is it brings those data sets in here, and then it accomplishes joining them by running the at values with the workflow itself. So imagine what you're seeing with the runner macro, and imagine being able to do that with apps. That's literally what this workflow does, and that's part of the reason why I love it so much. So, Fernando, now it's time for you to up the game here. What do you have to share?
Yeah, actually, I have two great things still for me to show here. I have the parallel block until done in the copy moving files. Actually, what do you guys want to see?
Yeah, if you guys want to see something in the...
Yeah, I think you need to choose wisely because you need to keep up later then.
Alice, what do you want to see? Is there one in particular that you want to see here?
I would love to see the file cop move.
File copy? Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something actually I select this one because as I'm replying to a lot of community posts there and see a lot of difficulties related to Excel templates, for example. So if you want to for example, you have a specific file and you want to send to someone, and you need to update that the file name. For example, if you need to update the file name, and you want that to also have a specific template that you already configure in Excel, or for instance, if you have a data set that it's been uploaded to your Excel file, and you have a lot of charts there already done to send by email to a lot of people in your company, or if you have a lot of different reports for each users, and you need also to have all the configurations done in Excel. So that's something that you can do here. So only to be specific here, when we talk about Excel, for those who have never seen this, we can preserve formatting in Excel. So you can configure everything that you would like, the column headers, the colors, and everything that you have in Excel. And when you are using this specific function, so it will just copy paste it to that specific place in your tab, and it will remain format. So all the colors, everything that you would like to see. And that's a problem because when you are using only one template and you want to create multiple files, for example, one file per area, that's something that we can do using this specific function here. So you are creating one file for each row of your data set in Alteryx. So what it does here, it won't preserve formatting because you are creating new files. So the idea here is for us to first create a copy of that template and then start using that to keep your format up. So that's the whole idea here. So if for example, I think I need to show this in my folder. Let me open just here. Is the third one. So actually what I have here, I have a simple template here with only a header that's already configured with some color here just to show you. And here I have two examples. So let me just delete this one. And the idea here is I'm gonna first copy this template 2 times, and then I'm going to insert data in it. So I'm using also the block until done here. A great tool for if you want to order your process. So the first thing I want to do is to copy the template, and then I'm going to write that template some data. What I was doing here, so it's a small data set. So I'm creating 2 files here based on this specific row. And the idea here is it's a pretty simple tool actually. So you won't need to give them the template name and the file name, and it will automatically copy. So it will get the template, it will copy, and also rename it. So it's renaming to example A, example B, and that's the only thing that it's doing actually. You don't have to do it's not that complex for you to configure. And if you have no idea how to configure this, you have also here a small tutorial showing how it's done. So it's actually it's a one not as famous as he should be of a user, but it's Bob Pierce. He's actually I'm insert here his GitHub because he has a lot of different tools that it's great tools for you to have in your Alteryx designer. So the idea here is I copied I created those 2 files, and then I'm inserting those data into those files. So that's the whole idea. And if you want to send this by mail, now you have a structure and format Excel file to send to a lot of different people.
Wow, that's cool. That's like a little assembly line that you have going there.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those for me to start only working by noon. That's
all right.
all that is.
Hey, you know what they say? It's best to hire the laziest person because he's going to figure out everything that he needs to do to make sure that he doesn't have to do it again.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It doesn't matter how many hours, right? I think that's definitely something that we want to keep in mind as we're all exploring the community, right? There's many things that have been invented, and the goal isn't to reinvent the wheel every time. It's to utilize the different resources that we have at hand to kind of stand on the shoulders of others. I mean, that's how we made it to space, right? And Alteryx does actually help us do some of that. We have some clients in that industry that we help support, and there's many others that we kind of work with. So I think we can keep going in the same order. Talis, you wanna share your next macro here?
Well, actually, I want to ask you, Andrew, what do you want to see? You want to see some predictive cool stuff going on, or you want to see another wonderful crew macro that we have?
I think I want to change it up now and see some predictive stuff. Let's see what you got for the predictive game here.
Oh, good. So let me show what I got then. Yeah, I think we're good now. So here, what we have in the public gallery as well, we have actually we have, just to let you guys know, we have a lot of districts here in the public gallery where you can pull down some really nice macros, right? And one of them is the predictive district, and it's really helpful because it adds more tools to not only to the predictive tool tab, right, in the tool palette, but also it actually has more interesting tools that you can explore there. But this one, it doesn't come with the R installer and with the predictive tools that you install separately. This one you have to install separately from the public gallery, and it's called the model comparison. And it's a really easy way to compare the performance of your predictive models in Alteryx. So I have here one example where I can show really quick. It's not really sophisticated example. I'm grabbing like the Iris data set, which is really famous with across data science world. But basically what I'm doing is in the Iris data set, you have a classification problem, right? where you need to specify the species based on their on those features, right? On these characteristics of the species.
Flowers. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then what you need to do, basically, usually you need to do like you need to separate your data set into an estimation data set and a validation data set. And then you create models, and then how you compare the models, right? Some people also use this what's called lift chart to compare those area under curve, um, uh, with the models, right? With the models that they actually use. But the model comparison tool actually gives you more. So if I run this, let me see if I configured that right. Hopefully I did. And we'll see that I'm actually running the models through my estimation data set. And then with my validation data set, I will compare them and see which of them actually perform better in my validation data set, right? And the output is really interesting. Let's see how quick this goes, but I think we can see the output. But it basically will give you like the confusion matrix. Let me see if I can see it here and show to you guys. It's actually this R output, which is
Nice.
the report, right? So what you get here is basically you had the accuracy of the models, which you can see like the SVM model had a better accuracy compared to the others. But also you can see accuracy based on the target variable that you're looking for. And also you have F1, which is also a nice metric to have for your model. And the cool thing here is to have the confusion matrix. So you have the confusion matrix for each model here. And you can compare them as well. So this one is a really quick one to have. Of course, it won't give you like I don't think this one gives you actually the charts. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know, Andrew, but I don't think it gives you the charts. But this report here actually helps a lot so you can see the different accuracies of the model. So
Yeah.
I use this one a lot, right? To compare the efficiency of my models. So and it's you don't have to configure anything. The only thing you need to do here is you need to define if there's a positive class in the target variable. So if it's a yes or no or a binary classification problem, you would put that in here. But other than that, it's
What I think is exciting about this is not everybody has access to the intelligence suite, right? So when we kind of look at this is one of the aspects that the intelligence suite does provide, is the ability to do model comparison, right? So as you're looking at these and trying to learn and prove out use cases for continuing to grow all of the different aspects of the Alteryx platform within your company or team, you can use this to essentially do some of those cursory looks, or obviously contact your rep and ask them, hey, can I get a trial of the intelligence suite and try some of this out? But what I like about this in particular is it gives you all those variables to help you kind of understand. And again, with this, you can crack it open, right? And see what's under the hood. How is it doing some of those comparisons? How do I build reports like this around the modeling itself? And if you do have a little bit of R background, it'll help you understand the different ways that R works within Alteryx. Yeah, this is incredible, Talis.
yeah, I love it. I really
Yeah, and actually, for me, it actually makes no sense why this isn't a native in Alteryx, because the
Yeah.
greatest tool for model comparison, actually.
Definitely. This is a good one, Talis. Man, you guys are setting the bar really high here. I gotta keep up my game. All right. Let me go ahead and share mine here for a second, and we'll talk about some advanced joins. And this is an old one, but it's actually a really good one. And part of the reason why I like this one in particular, and it's had a couple different iterations over the years. So this is actually a first one, and I'll throw the blog link in the chat so you guys can see it. This is where this had originally came from. So as we kind of see this, you'll see, okay, here's the join statements, right? And then what is it that we were trying to achieve, right? So you can see all the way back from 2014. This is where I start to date myself as far as how long I've been working with Alteryx and the types of problems we're solving, right? So as we're looking at these different examples, you can see this breaking down here, and I'll post this in the chat so you guys can go ahead and take a look at it, right? And as we're examining this, you'll see, okay, well, there's different ways that I can join, right? Sometimes there's that conventional join where we have field 1, field 2, and then what if I wanted to do partials around A but not B, right? So whatever's coming in A but is not in B, so I wanted to isolate that. So that would be like those outer joins. But then in addition to that, you could also add the conditions in there, right? So you can do the conventional join with conditions, which would almost work like a case statement. The other one that I really like is also a cross join. So a cross join works like this, where you could say, hey, I want it in between the start and end dates. Can you find something like that for me where it's going to be a specific date range? And as this has continued to evolve, you'll notice the tool looks like this. So I'll show you what the tool looks like now. So it's got this like sexy new look where it looks like the two Venn diagrams joining together. And then this tool is what you can download in the examples. And then if you crack this tool open, this is essentially what it's doing. So you've got some of that interface where it's doing the conditions, right? And then you'll notice here that it actually has some detouring capabilities, and then it's got join multiple, and then some true false statements. So this is typically kind of what we're doing in our heads, or as far as a design pattern in terms of designing these things, but it's at an abstract level. So as we kind of talk about your evolution in terms of evolving your workflows, you start working on things in terms of the abstract by providing things like temp fields, right? You can see with the join multiple, you've got specific fields where you're trying to join on those to run the check. And then you're also providing some validity. And then here you've got some of those statements where, okay, we're applying the statements and rules for purposes of filtering to kind of grab those. So basically it's allowing you to join on every field, specify, okay, now that I have this array essentially built out, now I can join on that. And what's incredible with this one is you kind of look at it, it's great in the sense that when I go to do the cross join, date ranges is a perfect example. I want something that's ideally in between that range, the start and the end date, and I may have a workflow where I'm filtering that out. Well, do I really want to go through a couple filters, or do I just want to isolate all that right away? And if I don't care about the other data, this provides you the perfect way of kind of achieving that. So that's the advanced join, and I'll throw that in the chat where you can find it. And again, just this is an oldie but a goodie. So if you're trying to do some of those other join statements, you don't have to look very far or necessarily go to in-database stuff. All right, Fernando.
Yeah. And Andrew, just to add to that, I actually think this is a really useful one, but when I'm lazy to download or to use this macro, I actually use the append fields method. Which
Nice.
I basically do a cross join and then use a filter to get the records I want based on the condition.
Nice. So you're specifying the condition, like utilizing some of this and then doing the cross join.
Yeah,
and then the records.
Yeah, and then doing a filter and specifying my condition like a greater or equal or in
Nice.
between values or whatever.
Yeah, because that's doing a little bit of like a Cartesian, right?
Yeah.
And blowing it out and then
So
shrinking it back down. Yeah.
yeah, that's the problem when you have big data sets. That's a really big problem.
Hey, but sometimes I think it is good to understand the Cartesian, right? It's not a black hole that we just need to avoid. There's different things that we can really do some time travel, right? And make things a little faster, especially if it's just an ad hoc request. So awesome. All right, we got 7 minutes left here, guys. Do we think we can get through 3 more in 7 minutes? Make
Yeah,
it
I think we
happen?
can. Yeah.
All right.
I think mine
Let's
is
race it.
1 minute. Yeah.
All right. All right, it's a race now. So Fernando, we'll hand it back over to you.
Yeah. So this it's a pretty simple one actually. So, but it's something that I always come across in the community as well. So if you want to create two tabs in the same Excel file, sometimes you get a lot of errors because you're trying to open one in one specific output tool, and the other one is trying to open the same Excel file as well. So that's something that we always come across, especially when we are using the join tool. So sometimes the left and the right anchor are problems in your data set, and if you try to run this and to create, for example, left anchor error and right anchor error, you will see this that it won't be possible because it's saying that it's unable to open because the Excel file was being written in this the other anchor. Here is for us to try to order this process. So we have the block until done that can do that. Sometimes it can do that, but sometimes when you have two different specific workflows or connections, what you can do is to use this block until done. You don't need to do any configuration. It's just to plug in and plug and run. So the first workflow, the first connection here, the second one here. So after the first one finishes, it will unlock the data to come for this the second output anchor. So the one thing that does here,
Beautiful.
it enables you to save a lot of different output in the same Excel file. So that's it. It's a great tool. It's a simple one, but it's a necessary one for a lot of people. That's it. 1 minute.
Perfect. All right, speed round.
Get in the clock.
Dallas, you ready?
Get in the clock. Yes, right. I am. And mine is really simple. I mean, I don't even think I have a minute to talk about. I think I have a second.
Oh
Good.
man. Crazy here.
Good with my dad jokes.
Yeah, you're gonna have to store those in a database.
The data, oh, really good. Andrew, yeah, but well, I lost a minute laughing about this, but then let me talk really quick about this. It's just it's a crew macro. You can see here there's this blog post that explains really shortly, but it's basically what it does. You can actually specify a specific period of time based on seconds that your workflow will hold the data until it progresses through the flow. So if I run this, it usually would take like less than a second, right? So then what the tool is doing is basically waiting 5 seconds, which I specified here, to write this data to the output. So it's good to use that to control operations like API requests that might like be limited on time, or maybe like if you're accessing a web page and if you're doing like multiple access at a time, it actually blocks you. So to actually do some kind of refresh or wait a little bit, instead of doing that, waiting manually, you can automate that through this tool. So that's right, it's really useful.
This is a great one, and I've even packaged this in a macro because depending on what you're trying to scrape, if you're doing any scraping, they can detect if it's the same interval every time because they're like, I know a person can't perfectly click every 5 seconds. So then what I've done is I've done a random tool before, and I packaged this in a macro, and then I've said, okay, make it between 5 seconds and 30 seconds, and then do the records every time. So then you can't tell that it's a machine that's working on filing those requests. So you can get crazy with this stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I think he didn't like my joke, so it actually it wasn't waiting for for 5 seconds here because it's taking forever.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, but that might be something else in my environment. So don't worry, guys. If you use that in a clean environment, you're gonna get the desired result here. It's just something that is running as it isn't expected.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. And I've got my final one here. And I know that everybody definitely loves this macro. So if you haven't done the publish to Tableau server tool, you can publish your data sets directly either via, hopefully you're not still stuck with TDs. Hopefully you've at least progressed to hyperfiles, but you can do either one. And you can even do TDS files as well, which is some of the metadata you can upload. But if you've never cracked this open, so you can right click on the tool and open it up, it does have the HTML interface. But what I use this for on a regular basis is also sharing some of the different macros that exist in here. Like you can see there's actually an authentication macro in here, right? And then we can see, okay, from there, how am I going to parse what's coming out for messages in regards to Tableau server errors from the API? And then you have chunking with file uploads, right? So this is literally a treasure trove of incredible macros that exist in here, including like this create TD or hyperfile. Like I've never created other proprietary file formats on my own. Not that we can necessarily all do that just because of different rights, but as we talk about it, there's different ways that you can go about learning how to accomplish these things. And if you are working with either maybe a legacy system that's just not cooperating with you, or you have like this, it just needs to be in a different format, like hex format, you can do that. And then there's lots of different tools like the blob tools, etc., that's in here that are extremely good to learn and understand, and even chunking for the APIs. So we were talking about throttling. You've got chunking here that you can break out. And all this is literally part of the same tool. If you actually start playing with this one, I would definitely recommend saving it off as a different version if you start trying to deconstruct some macros, so you don't go and mess up the tool and try and use it later and it's not working. But just keep in mind, you've got a wide variety of pieces here, and then you can even see the layers in terms of logic for publishing those data feeds, making sure you're successfully piping out all the messages, and then even a good showcase of a layered approach in terms of different messages, etc., and best practices in regards to organizing these. So I know that was definitely a lot that we visited today. Thank you guys for both joining us here. And let's talk for a quick second about what do we have coming up next year. So I think the next round that we have is Designer, right? And we're going to be talking about the different aspects with Designer that we know and love, and just how we're continuing to grow and evolve with it. Is there any notes of wisdom you guys wanted to share before we close out today?
Well, we gotta have tips and tricks, right?
Oh yeah.
The audience loves that.
Yeah, so I definitely think we can do is maybe that's what we end up doing for Designer, is just talking some serious tips and tricks and going through some of our favorites. And I think it could be everything from like how we have our Designer configured and like what's some of our favorite ways to configure that to make us faster. Hotkeys, I love hotkeys. And then we can go through different tips and tricks in terms of design patterns and stuff. How does that sound?
That's great.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We have our next session on Designer next month, And in case you missed some of the sessions that we've had, feel free to follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube, and you can see some of those recordings. And don't miss the latest from us here at Data Meaning with our Data in the Wild. All right. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Tuesday, guys.